What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is your body and aging. What if you don't have to age? What if aging is another lie that we bought? What if aging is relative? How much of your body response to aging is your point of view? Let's explore those ideas with tools of Akashic Records and access consciousness. I am a medical doctor, family practice, who became an access consciousness facilitator, Akashic Record teacher, 3-day body facilitator, published author, and now podcast host. And I always was searching for tools to create my life, and now I'm facilitating classes around the world and also do private session online and in person to create a different reality with your life, with your body, with everything in this reality. So join me on this show about your body and aging. I did a free podcast, kind of like free Zoom, I would say, a couple of weeks ago about that, and realized there is so much about body and aging that you cannot fit in 1 hour or 2 hours or probably 1,000 hours, because there is so much points of view, so many ideas that we have about what aging is, how we age, what's involved, the dis-ease of aging, and so on and so forth. I'm not excluded from that crowd of having so many points of view about aging. Before access, it was a certainty. Now, not so much. Because aging is like a dis-ease of the body. If we have a point of view that we're aging, we will. If we have a point of view that we are not, we will not. A lot of people in access either slow down their aging or stopped aging. So I always was curious about that, and even noticed myself looking younger, feeling younger with the tools. So what are the tools of access consciousness? It's kind of a technique that was created by Gary Douglas and co-created with Dr. Dane here. And it's about allowing yourself to drop the limitations that you put on yourself, other people put on yourself. So since we were kids, we wanted to get older, right? At a certain age, we like how we look, let's say 20, 25, 30, 35. And then suddenly, I remember myself at 40, I was supposed to celebrate a big birthday, and I got sick. Fever, 102 or 42 degrees for people in Europe and everywhere else other than America. Let's say high fever, couldn't get out of bed, canceled my birthday. When I hit my 50th birthday, I refused to celebrate. Literally, I'm like, I'm not celebrating 50. I had a point of view that, wait a second, it's just a point of view. But I didn't like 50. It's like something about that. And now, at 58, I actually look at this as age is just a number. I don't care how old I'm going to be. I'm creating my life from joy, from fun. And a lot of discomfort or disease in the body as soon as I am in that mood, in that frame of mind, call it whatever you want, or point of view, I feel much better. I have more energy. I create more. When I buy into this reality that aging is real, I start feeling tired and started having chest pains, started having like a lot of other stuff, which is not productive, and that's not real. Some of the people will say, oh wait, it is real. I'm like, no, it's a creation. I've learned that the hard way, because one day I feel great, the other day not so much, especially like waking up. What if we are aware of everybody else's shit instead of like living our lives? We start feeling, and I use that term, feeling other people's feelings, have the other people emotions, have other people thoughts. We're psychics, all of us. And it's not even psychics. Let's do a real quick exercise. If you're sitting, laying down, doesn't matter what you're doing, except driving. You can close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. Please, 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 please. Because you need your eyes on the road. So with that, just feel your edges of you, not your body. Don't touch your body, and if you're watching me, I'm just touching my body. But energetically, find the edge of your being, of your soul, of your consciousness, whatever it is, and just see where you are in this 10 seconds. If I say a mile away, are you still there? Yes. 1,000 miles, you're still there. 100,000 miles, you're still there. So in truth, everything, everybody in this world is inside of you. You're bigger than your body. So we're talking about the difference between the body and embodiment, but you embody everything. All the plants, all the people around you, and sometimes you might be contracted. You might be contracted inside your body, and that's a choice. So when you actually that big, you sense, you're aware of other people's thoughts and emotion and feelings. That's as simple as it gets. You're just out there, and they're just floating inside of you, and you're picking them up. And so what if you actually start recognizing where you are versus other people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions? And one of the tools I love is from Access Consciousness, Who Does It Belong To? It's a simple tool which is kind of even I forget to use a lot of times because it's so simple and we forget. So who does it belong to pulls that energy up of everything you picked up from other people, everything you picked up from other animals, from the planet, and lets it go where it needs to go, to the source. And it's not going to harm them, it's not going to do anything except go back so they can deal with that. Just like if you find an iPad or a computer on the road that's locked, you cannot use it. Just that weight. And if you return it to somebody, it's very precious to them. Believe me. You think, oh my God, if they're feeling bad, how can it be precious? Believe me, a lot of people invested in their problems, in their illnesses, in their aging. So let's do it together. Who does this belong to? And you might might not even have any idea what's in your body is not yours, what's in your mind that's not yours. Let's just scan the body, scan your mind, and ask, who does this belong to? I feel a little lighter. Who does this belong to? And who does this belong to? And who does this belong to? And let's return it back to whoever gave you all those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, everywhere where you bought it. Just return it. Let them have their precious thoughts, precious feelings, precious emotions, precious pain. Wow. How much ease can we have with our body? And what if we didn't have to age? What if aging is also another thought or feeling or emotion that we picked up from other people? I had a patient, and I love giving that example because that's when I realized, actually a couple of patients of mine, when I was practicing family practice. I actually quit because of illness. And I had open heart surgery, if you're wondering. And you can read about me on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. It has my bio, it has in details what I went through, because I created a lot of illnesses, a lot of aging, even that it's not real. If you believe it's real, it is real. So this lady comes to my office, 99 years old, and all like hair is done, makeup, beautiful woman. And she did not look like your traditional 99 years old. Her mind was perfectly fine, and she had very minor illness. It wasn't even an illness, it was more cosmetic than illness. And she showed me, it was on her abdomen, and I'm like, it's not dangerous, don't touch it, because otherwise you need surgery to remove it. And she's like, but I don't like it. In the winter I'm going to Florida and I wear bikini and I don't want my boyfriends to see it. And I'm like, wait, how many boyfriends do you have? She's like, I have 2, both wonderful guys. I like both of them. And they do know about each other, but I don't like this on my stomach because when I wear bikini, it shows. And I'm like, oh my God, that was the day when I realized that age is just a number. Because I've had people younger than her that were in totally different shape. And I'm like, I will have that. I will not age according to this reality. And this is actually time for our first break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich. On Inspired Choices Network, we'll talk more about aging and lies about it when we return. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today, our show topic is your body and aging. And before we went on a break in our first part of the show, we were talking about that you don't have to age. And a lot of aging is just a point of view. And I gave an example of a 99-year-old with 2 boyfriends and not liking a small cosmetic problem. And what else is possible with aging? Right now I would like to talk about sexuality and sexualness of aging, because a lot of people have points of view, just like this lady had 2 boyfriends. So she didn't buy that with age you lose your sexualness, you lose your sexuality, and you stop having sex. But a lot of people buy that point of view. A lot of people, actually, I've met some of them. I met somebody who was 55 years old and said, at our age we don't need sex. And I'm like, excuse me? Maybe it's you, but not me. And it's total lie. Again, I give examples of another patient of mine, a man who came in at the age of 86 with his wife of 78. They actually, I think, were maybe newlyweds. It was their second, third marriage, I'm not sure. They were married maybe a couple of years, I think, or maybe a year. And he asked for vitamin V, Viagra, because he had a point of view that it slows down with age, but with him, the slowing down was 3 times a week was not enough for him and his wife. So he wanted more. How many of young people don't even have 3 times a week? So aging doesn't have to mean decline in sexual satisfaction. Like, how many people refuse to have sexualness that their body can have at any age? Well, sex is a lot of times taboo in a lot of cultures, either through religious or like you cannot have sex until you're married. You cannot have sex with certain people. You cannot have that. You cannot have that. But what if all of it is a lie? What if it's just a choice and preference instead of being a judgeable offense? Who you're having sex with, who you're not having sex, how much sex you have, and especially with aging. And what if you actually allowed yourself to ask your body, who would I like to have sex with? Who would I not like to have sex with? how much sex would I like to have? And start creating from that. There is amazing books and workshops by Mama Gina. Mama Gina School of Womanly Art, Pussy Reclamation, or Reclamation of Pussy. And right now she has a GPS course that I'm actually taking. It's about reconnecting with your body, reconnecting with your sexualness. And what if it's a lie that with age you have to give up sex? Because I'm not sure about my grandparents, but when I was growing up, they had separate beds. And I'm not sure if it was cultural, convenience, or it was just a decision that after that age, you don't have sex. So, what if that's the biggest lie? And it actually becomes very insidious with where we buy it, how we buy it. Because think about when you were growing up. Because sex in this reality is one of those things that is very judgeable offense. When you're growing up as a kid, sex is not allowed. Like when kids start developing as a teenagers, they would like to have sex, but they're told that's inappropriate, that's wrong. Though in the old times, people got married, and in certain cultures, it's still acceptable to get married at 13, 14, 15, etc. So, yes, granted, the child cannot have appropriate understanding or consent, especially when adults are concerned. But saying that it's a wrongness and judgment about that creates that turmoil in a child's mentality. And then you're told that you cannot have sex until you get married. And then when you start getting older, all bets are off, because right now in our society, actually it's a judgeable offense if you don't have sex when you're young. And a lot of times it's judged if you're heterosexual, you're judged if you're homosexual, if you're judged if you have multiple partners, if you have one partner. There is so many judgment about sex that no wonder people have problems with that in this society. And it according to aging and not according to aging. It's everything in between. So what if, and again, I'm going to ask you to pull all those points of view you have, are those yours? 99% of the time, it's totally not yours. So when you get married, you already have those points of view that sex is wrong, sex is dirty, and all of those things. So some people have a hard time with sex in marriage. And then when you get older, same thing applies. So let's look at that and ask those questions that we ask in the beginning. That's a tool of the week. Who does this belong to? And let's send it back. Whew. And again, who does this belong to? And send it back. And who does this belong to? Or actually, what does this belong to? Because sometimes it's not even from the person. It might be from the book. It might be from a picture. It doesn't matter. Who or what does this belong to? And send it back. I don't know about you, but I feel lighter. It's a little different right now. And same goes with illnesses, diseases. A lot of it is impelled points of view, and they're not cognitive. A lot of times they're totally unconscious. Some of those things, especially with sex and aging, and with illness and aging, a lot of times we pick up from how our parents or grandparents aged. So we look at them like, oh, my grandpa is, let's say, 65 years old, and he's old and aging, and he hurts everywhere. He complains about being sick. He has all those medical illness. And so when we get to 65, we start to mimic them. And I remember looking at my grandma at 58, and I thought she was so old. She became a widow at 58. So I'm like, oh my God, she's so old. And when she got a boyfriend, I'm like, I think at 70, I'm like, wait a second, that's wrong. I was, I think, like 20 some. And it was interesting how all those points of view, and a lot of them, those points of view were not mine. Right now, being 58, I'm like, oh, wait, this is just a number. I can have whatever I want right now. My life pretty much just started. I'm just a baby. What else is possible now? What can I create now that was not available before? And who does this belong to? Send it back. And this is time for our second break of the show. When we return, we'll talk more about aging in our body and what it means to age, what it doesn't mean. Maybe talk a little bit about genetics of aging. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is your body and aging. Before I go to the topic, I just want to tell you that I'm a featured host of ICN, Inspired Choices Network, and when you subscribe to the newsletter on the website, you will actually get a free gift. There are featured hosts every week, and you'll get free gifts every week, depending on when you subscribe or you choose your gifts, I think. And my gift is money meditation. So you're welcome to join our list of people who are reading our newsletter. And now back to the show of your body and aging. And before we went on a break, or in the last couple of things, we talked about that your point of view creates your reality. Well, that's what we're going to be talking now, but people age at different speeds. I had a 99-year-old who had 2 boyfriends and was amazing. And also we talked about sex and aging, and you can listen to it. If you're just starting now, you will find the recording everywhere pretty much on ICN app or on iTunes, Spotify, you name it, on pretty much 200 different platforms and TV shows. And we do have a question here in our chat room, and you can join the chat room to ask questions. You can join Zooms. Is there a natural aging process of the body, or do we create all of it? It's interesting because being a medical doctor, I kind of learned a lot about genetics, but also when I was in college, there was a choice to do PhD in genetics or to become a medical doctor, and I let the universe choose. I said, if I pass the test, if I get to medical school, then it meant to be a doctor. But if not, I'll go to PhD, to do PhD in genetics. And I wonder what my life would be if I did. But saying that, there is an actual aging process, which is kind of a mutation. There is, like, our chromosomes have, I don't know, trillions in a trillion degree different genes. It's all combined. And the body, it's like a redundant process because the same gene is kind of like done in sequence, and there are spaces between them. And what happens is, with aging, those spacers get lost, and one of, like, let's say you have 100, there is much more, but let's say 100 copies of the same gene for the same protein. So that first gene is active, let's say from ages 1 to 5. And then at 5, it turns off, and then another one, but it's slightly different. And as we age, those genes turn on and off kind of automatically, but my guess it's not automatic. It depends on our points of view, because different people age differently. Also, the mutations are different. How many spacers do you have in those genes? How many errors do you have in those genes? And those errors create disease, like cancer, like heart disease. All of those things are influenced by our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. If you believe that you're aging, you will age faster. There is also a disease, progenia, where kids age so fast that they pretty much age and die by the age of 10. Science doesn't have the explanation. My interesting point of view is that the soul, the being that came in, looked at all of that and said, you know what, I'm going to age and die, and went through the sequence of those genes very fast. There is a lot of breakthrough being found through that disease. It's very rare. But you've seen the movie Benjamin Button, I forgot the full name of it, where he was actually born as an old man and went through reversing age and died as a kid, which was very interesting to see. But there is an interesting idea, because kids are born with all the knowledge. They're infinite beings. They know that magic is real. They know that their point of view creates reality. They know that if they wish something, they'll get it. Even a newborn, when it's hungry, it starts crying, mom comes in and gives the food. If they're thirsty, mom comes in and mom knows. Or dad, or whoever takes care of them. It doesn't matter. I just said mom, or caregiver, whatever. But saying that, a 2-year-old creates whatever he desires in his life, the way he desires, by just asking the universe. And then we tell kids, oh, that's impossible, we don't have money for that, blah, 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 and all that blah, 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 creates the limited world for the child, including the aging. Because the parent, what would they say? Oh, when you get older, you will be able to do that. Or, oh, you're just running around right now, but if you were my age, you would know that I get tired, or people get older. All those points of view create that sequence of genes turn on and off at different speed. Because if you look at different people, they age differently. Some people age gracefully, and some people do not. Like, I know in my family there is a huge genetic predisposition to heart disease. And when I looked at different people in my life, like one of my uncles that died at age of 60 with pretty much, he clogged everything. He had the point of view that people like age and die. He also was a smoker. Then there's my grandma, who died at age of 91, and she died very sick and very old. And mom, who died earlier, but she didn't age as bad as grandma. At 82, she looked and acted as, she said, probably like people would think she was in her 50s, maybe early 60s, when she was 80. And eventually her point of view created reality and she passed away. But this is all about point of view. It's about choice, not the actual physical fact. And yes, eventually we will die, and yes, eventually we'll get old, but the point of view creates a reality, because there are people now 115, 120 years old who are functioning very well. This is about point of view more so than actual physics. When you look at the Bible, people lived 700, 800, 900 years. What if that's the truth? How much can we accomplish if we did that? What if that lifespan that's now available is a result of everybody's point of view in the world? And what if we let it go? What if we return it back? Again, who does this belong to? Send it back. Who does this belong to? Send it back. And how much of all of that is a choice? How much choice plays a role? How many times people say, oh, I'm tired of this life. And guess what happens? I don't want to live like that. Guess what happens? In both cases, or a lot of others, then people start aging fast and die. Because their body is like a genie. It listens to everything we say. Our bodies are amazing. It has a consciousness of its own. And it works with us. It plays with us. We cannot be in this reality without the body. I mean, we can, but then there is no touch, there is no love, there is no sex, there is no eating, there is no pleasure. There is so many things that body loves, and we experience it through the body. Cannot experience it as a free spirit, cannot experience it as a soul or a ghost. Yeah, some ghosts maybe can touch a little bit, but I'm not sure how much they're feeling, because the body is the one that feels. Body is the one that drives a car. Body is the one that kisses. Body is the one that swims, or being in the water, or takes a shower. All of it is body. So with the aging, a lot of those functions we start neglecting, especially nowadays with social isolation, because touch is important, and we'll talk about that after we come back from the break. It's time for our third break of the show, and you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is your body and aging. And in the previous segments, we talked about sexuality, sexualness, and you don't have to age. That a lot of it is other people's points of view that we picked up, and our tool of the week is who does that belong to. And there was a comment in the chat that mom has been falling down, and she actually said before that she doesn't want her body to fall apart and die. So a lot of times we create not so much from desire but from fear and resistance. So resisting to fall apart, the body does not translate our kind of like idioms or things. For the body to fall apart means to fall. And it's pretty much what we create. So her not wanting to fall apart, she keeps falling. And by virtue of that, kind of like killing her body. And that's what we do. We kill our body with our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And a lot of times we don't even realize that we do that, because some of those are so insidious, so unconscious or subconscious, because a lot of times the fleeting thought can create so many things. Like when I was working, I'm like working, my marriage, everything was a disaster, and at least that's what I thought, and I'm like, I don't want to live like that. Body looks at that, because body doesn't have a point of view of death the same way we do, because body is kind of like part of the animal kingdom. And if you look at the animals, they are born, and then they grow up there like within a year, and they become like an adult, and they are like happy, joyful, young looking, pretty much until the day they die. At least some of them. Like my dog of 14 years, he was perfectly looking like a puppy, acting like a puppy, until 3 days before he died. And then he suddenly like became debilitated, asked me to let him go, and he was gone. We kind of put him to sleep. He taught me a lot about bodies, about aging, about everything that we create based on our point of view. And a lot of people are afraid of aging, and they age. Some people have a point of view that they will look young, but they will become debilitated, like breaking bones and eventually killing themselves. Some people choose not to get old, like Marilyn Monroe. She said, I don't want to get old, so she committed suicide at 33. I think she was very young. And so all of that is part of our point of view creates our reality. And your body and aging is part of that. Everything in our body is our point of view creates our reality by mimetically mimicking other people, all of that. Because aging is not what it is right now, or at least for majority of people, because some people age fine. Because if you know, a lot of people who are over age of 100 or 110 are in the mountains away from civilization. Why is that? People say, oh, because it's the air is there, because it's this, because it's that. What if it's because they're away from the civilization, away from the judgment and bombardment of the points of view that they're supposed to age? Because they don't have the bombardment of other people about aging. They don't. They are healthy, they're fine. And there are people who are like 150 years old somewhere in the mountains. There were reports of very old, and I'm being like facetious, like numbers that are very functional, healthy, etc. But a lot of them are not here in this environment of complete and utter point of view of aging and dying. And what if it's about letting go of those points of view? And again, I'm going to remind you about the tool of the week. Who does this belong to? And let's do it all together. Again, we did it in the first segment, but I'd like to do it again. Look at all, like, bring all your thoughts, feelings, and emotions about aging. What does aging mean to you? How are you aging? Good or bad, by the way, because a lot of times the good points of view hiding a bad one behind it, because we resist the bad and we align and agree with the good, but then it still holds the aging in place. And a lot of time there's conflictual points of view that's stuck. And sticking us with aging. So, what does aging mean to you? What judgments do you have about aging? And who does this belong to? Return it back. Who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? Who does this belong to? Oops, I just hit my computer. And it went flying. Who does this belong to? And return it back. We have only a few minutes left in the show. Just want to remind you that being an featured host on the website, when you sign up, you get a free gift, free meditation about money. And you can listen to this podcast every Wednesday live at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then you can look up the time on the website as well. You can join the live audience on Zoom. You can also join chat room and ask questions, maybe be facilitated on the air if you're brave enough. You can, and every week there is a new free gift that you can choose from different hosts. And you can download our free app. It's Inspired Choices Network application where you can listen recordings, you can listen to live shows, look at the blogs, look a lot of things, and there is a lot of things there. Also, you can go to my website, Creating Abundance with Ease, download another free gift, expanding exercise, to join my own newsletter that comes out once a month with a blog, with a lot of new tools, and schedule of upcoming classes, and free and not. Also, coming up next week is Sex and Aging on our show. We'll talk a little bit more about aging and sex, kind of expanding on what we started today, because I felt this topic needs more in depth, and the following week will be in Russian, because I speak two languages, so there is two audiences that I'd like to speak to, and it will be in Russian language. And by the way, if you don't understand Russian, you still can listen, because there is a lot of energetic underlying vibrations that can change things. Because when I talk, it's not just talking, I use or being the energies of change and something that can create a different reality. Also, upcoming classes, there is a Being You one-day adventure that's again about aging on 14th and 15th online, which is going to be Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., which will cover most of the Europe, Asia, and it will be translated into Chinese. Foundation, October 29, November 2nd, that I'll have another facilitator joining me, Rachel Silber from Guatemala, and both of us will facilitate 4 days of amazing tools of access consciousness. There is going to be a bars class on the 17th, and there is a 3-day body class scheduled in Taiwan in November, which might or might not be rescheduled because of the situation in the world. At this moment, foreigners are not allowed to come to Taiwan, so we are still looking at the possibility. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life. and start creating magic in your life and your body.